We got the update on Chris. He's going to miss the next two preseason games.
Yeah.
How unfortunate is that, given just kind of what you were looking at and kind of hoping to see before you started the regular season?
Well, it's unfortunate from the standpoint that he needs reps, whether he's starting or not starting. But I started him in the last game, but both Chris and Kevin knew that Chris was going to start the last game, Kevin was going to start this game. So Kevin was going to start regardless if Chris was healthy or not. But like I said, from the standpoint of him continuing to get reps with this being his first year with us, that stinks, but it's part of what we have to go through.
Okay.
How much is him starting part of like an experiment, and how much of it was an honest to goodness, like this could be something that we see coming into the regular season with Chris?
There's reasoning behind everything we do. Even was it against the Lakers when we started Sasha? Yeah, even starting Sasha against the Lakers, there's reasoning behind it, and it's real. And we feel like we have more depth this year than we did last year, and so we want to give different combinations, looks at different times. So there's a realness behind it, but there's been a realness behind everything that we've done so far.
When we get to opening night, are you expecting Kevin to be the starter, or is that still up for debate?
It's always up for debate. I think the two guys that will start for sure are Fox and Domas. But I think as a head coach, it's my job to put the best five out on the floor at any given time, and to have that flexibility is something you always want to be able to have. You don't ever want to put yourself in a box. And I believe our team, they all signed that all-in contract, and every good team that I've been a part of, or great team that I've been a part of, at the end of the day, doesn't always go with the same lineup every single game. There are times when even quote-unquote the best possible player may or may not start. A lot of it is, are you going to end games or finish games? And I think that's the most important aspect of it.
You mentioned, making your players uncomfortable in situations like that.
Sure.
Did that, when you talk about, the starting lineup and things like that, that has anything to do with, making them uncomfortable, or just getting them to understand, hey, there's nothing given here, you have to earn it?
It's more that, the second one, than being uncomfortable. But every time you have change, there is that aspect of people being uncomfortable and thinking that, hey, we had some quote-unquote success, we made the playoffs, everything should be status quo. And so, anytime you make a change or you do something new or different, like I'm saying, is it can kind of make people a little uneasy. And that's part of something that we have to be able to look each other in the eye and deal with it like grown-ups. And again, I go back to, we're really big on where our culture is here, and everybody's bought in and everybody's embraced it. When you accept a part of being a culture, that means, okay, I'm doing it because that person said to do it. So that means you got one foot in, one foot out. And when you hit adversity, a lot of times that's when you're pulling that other foot out. But if you embrace it, in my opinion, if you embrace something, then no matter what's happening, if it's happening with you, your best friend, these three guys, if you embrace it, no matter what, you're all in, and you're going to keep doing whatever you can possibly do to make the team have success, because the reality of it is when the team has success, we all have success.
You were pretty clear to the whole group about what your message was in terms of the way you wanted guys to defend, be physical, get over those screens, all of that stuff. How has the group as a whole reacted in the days since you kind of opened up and talked about that stuff to us?
No, they've been good, and we got. I still, after watching the film, I don't know how Golden State had 42 free throws to our 17, but they should have had more because we're trying to play more physical. We just have to make sure that we don't do it the wrong way, where if a guy hasn't really beat his man and I'm on the strong side and I'm reaching, we don't need to reach. Just let him shoot a tough shot over a guy going vertical. If I'm going to close out a help on the ball, I don't want to lead with my hands. If I'm leading with my hands, that's not being physical. That's fouling, and we need to be physical by leading with our chest. As long as we do that, even if we hit a guy, like a guy's cutting through the paint, boom, we hit a guy, they call a foul. That's all right. That's who we want to be. and we'll figure that part out as long as we get rid of the fouling that has nothing to do with quote-unquote physicality that we're looking for.
Did you see, like what you said, well, like in the sense that, he's obviously a member of the opposition, but obviously the growth of Jonathan Kaminga is a big topic over there. Were you pretty impressed to see what I know it's just one preseason game, but some of the steps he may have taken forward?
No, I have a fondness for those guys. I was there for 6 years, and to see a young guy like that start to figure out how he can have some success in this league, you're always pulling for that. JK just not against us.
Right.
You hear me? But other than against us, yes, I'm pulling for him all the time.
And how with Colby, obviously he's played with guys that are lower on the rotation, but obviously higher on the rotation too. How do you see him fitting in with even higher elevated rotational players on this team?
I tell you what, Kobe is, the more and more I watch him and put him in different situations, that's the more impressed I've been, especially for a young guy. And his upside is, in my opinion, right now, pretty high. You don't want to elevate him there quite yet, but his pace, his demeanor, his strength, his athleticism, his feel. He can play pick and roll. He can play off the ball. Defensively, he's pretty good for a young guy. There are a lot of things that you look at and you say, okay, he may be a good basketball player someday at this level, and he could be a high-level basketball player. So he's just got to keep working, keep knowing how to stay locked in even when he's tired, And then the reality of it is, obviously, he's got to keep working on his shot, And if he does those things, he might have a chance to be impactful in this league for a long time.
Mike, when you talk about the feel that he has, it's something that just jumps off the court. Like when you see it, he just looks like he is comfortable playing basketball. Do you see that?
Yeah, 100%. He's never in a hurry. He's able to be quick without being in a hurry, if that makes sense. And when you have that at his age, and you don't get rattled or the defense can't speed you up, man, that's a hard thing to teach, especially to young guys who haven't played in an NBA game, because the NBA game is fast. You got athletes and everybody's long and everybody makes up ground quick, and to be able to not make that type of pressure speed you up as a young guy, that's pretty good.
Coach, I'm going to talk about Kobe, but he and Keon were talking about the opportunities that they were having, playing the point. They were switching off. Obviously, you're encouraging these guys to do that. Are they getting really comfortable with that? At least they seem like they're embracing it right now.
Yeah, because obviously we have Fox, we have Davion, and then you got Jordan Ford. And the reality of it is, knock on wood, we were blessed to not be injured last year, but if either Fox or Davion gets hurt, that may be an opportunity for one of those three guys to play. And so they need to be able to have a feel, because we don't necessarily need a true point guard with the way our offense is, but we need somebody that can bring the ball up and initiate our offense, especially when a lot of guys are tired and don't want to bring it up. And so to put those two guys in Keon and Kobe in this situation now, I think can pay dividends for us long term.
Mike, when you look at the last couple preseason games, when do you flip over from, hey, I'm going to stop experimenting and kind of treat this like a real game regular season?
We're going to do that tomorrow a little bit. We're going to try to, we were doing the hockey subs where it's 5 and 5 and then sometimes 5. And we're going to mix and match tomorrow with our team. We'll play Foxy in 3 bursts like we did last year to take a look at that. And we may do a little bit more of that against Utah. We may not do it the whole game, but we're going to try to take a look at it.
What have you seen from Fox defensively in this preseason? Have you seen any growth? What's jumped out to you?
He's been dynamite. He was one of the culprits, though, that reached a couple of times when he didn't need to. And it's one of those things, if you're going to do it, I'm okay with it as long as you get it, and you don't send him to the free throw line. But he's been dynamite. And the level of consistency on that end of the floor for him doing what we're trying to preach the right way, the dude can't get screened if he don't want to. He's that good, and now you couple that with the way he can be defensively, and you add that with his development offensively, man, and he's still got room to grow on both ends. But he's been really good, as you can see. I'm excited about his growth, but more so the consistency of playing at that level defensively.
Mike, how receptive has Kevin been to your conversations and kind of being pushed, and then physically, like actually getting out and seeing the effort to do the things you're asking him to do? What are you seeing there?
He's been great. I have no complaints. I'm the one. I don't like pink elephants in the room, and so before the team knew it or anything, I called him to my office before that practice that had happened. Two practices before the game or whatever. I think we had basically a day off after the Lakers game, and then the next day we practiced. So I think we practiced, then played. And so before our first practice, I called him in, sat him down, looked eye to eye, and told him. And I said, "What you got for me?" And he told me, and we had a great conversation. And he just went out there and busted his behind. And today it was great. I thought his physicality was starting to head the direction that we need to go, and I'll be interested to see if it continues to go upwards, because that's what it's doing right now.
He didn't trash your office?
What's that?
He didn't trash your office?
No, he didn't.
Thanks, guys.
My office is already trashed.
Right.
Thank y'all.